Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so we have the LR Awakening for the free-to-play AGL Story Mode Bardock. So we're going to go ahead and check him out here. We're running the Blue Vegeta final stage of the Goku Story Red Zone, because he is a transformation boost enemy, which will be relevant, of course, when we go over his passive. Bardock gets a buff against Wicked Bloodline or Transformation Boost, which is good, right? Because if it was just Wicked Bloodline, it'd be incredibly limited for the events that you'd actually be able to get that buff. But obviously he's still got the intro animation. It's the same one as he had as a TUR, but figured, you know, as it's his showcase video, we should at least get it started off with his intro. So let's make sure we remember to turn those off. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Obviously he's full level 10 links, rainbow. His art's pretty cool. I like the you got him with the Torah in the background, and then the Super Saiyan, the animated LR effects, obviously pretty cool. The big aura and the waves in the background, pretty cool. So this guy, he leads time travelers for 3 key and 80%. I mean, the leader skill is what it is, right? He's a free-to-play character. His 18 key super greatly raises defense, so it's an infinite stack. Greatly raises attack for 1 turn and does mega colossal damage. And then his 12 key super raises attack, which is an infinite stack. Greatly raises defense for 1 turn, does colossal damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers attack. So events where you can attack lower, obviously that will be very useful. And then his passive, we get the entrance animation when there's 3 or more superclass allies on the team. So he is basically just like he was before his awakening, right? He is kind of designed around being a superclass support unit. And his intro buff gives him a guaranteed additional super and guard for 4 turns. Then his basic effects are 5 key, attack and defense 150%, high chance to crit, superclass allies key 1, attack and defense 25%, time traveler allies key 1, attack and defense 25%. So you can run him on a team with extreme time travelers characters, right? And he would still be supporting them. You just have to make sure you do have the 3 super allies, otherwise he doesn't get his intro. But of course that means that superclass time traveler allies are getting 2 key and 50% support, which is obviously very good. In the current meta, as we've shifted like now with the 220 leads, there's not a lot of like the new best units that are time traveler characters, but obviously that will be a category that will get buffed in the future. Every time we get like new Trunkses, any future Saga Gohans, Vegetos, all that kind of stuff, right? Like those will be characters that will benefit from this Bardock being on the team. And then yeah, when there's a Wicked Bloodline or Transformation Boost enemy, he gets 120% extra attack and 30% damage reduction. So obviously damage reduction is going to go a long way, especially in the early turns where he has the guard as well. Gives you a chance to get him built up a little bit. When there's another superclass ally in the same turn, he gets an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super. When he's attacking with 12 or more key, he gets an extra 100% attack and defense. And then when HP is 60% or less, he gets 60% extra attack, does guaranteed crits, and has a scouter as well. So definitely a useful ability, but obviously being locked behind 60% or less HP can be kind of annoying, especially in sort of the top tier difficult events where a lot of the times if you're actually taking damage from one of the big boss supers, if they're supering in the wrong place and not on one of your like designated tanks for the rotation, you're potentially just getting one shot rather than dropping to like 60% or less HP. But obviously there are still multiple instances where that can happen, and it's any time that happens and he comes onto the turn. So having the scouter then when you're on a bit lower HP obviously is very, very helpful. So mine is built for additional and dodge, because essentially obviously this is a showcase video, so we're going to keep him on rotation, but he does feel like he is designed to be a floating support unit, and he has a chance to crit in his passive, and of course on the low HP he has guaranteed crits. So as a unit that you're not really putting him on the team to be a damage dealer, so it doesn't really matter whether he crits or not. The additionals will help him stack up attack, but he's only stacking defense on his 12 key super anyway. So dodge obviously is going to be important for him. So we're running him on the Tech Vegeta Super Saiyans or Vegeta family team, largely because he doesn't have a 220% leader. So he's only on a couple of 200% teams that are still meta relevant, which is like the in LR Broly, but obviously he's extreme. The Int Fat Boo, who again is extreme. Otherwise, his 200% leaders are like the Int Carnival Super Saiyans, Physical Sword of Hope Trunks, like Physical God Goku, characters that obviously for the current meta are like very outdated, right? So either way, we'll go ahead and see how we get on here. We've got all of his stuff active on this turn because we have a superclass ally, we have a transformation boost enemy. So let's see, we're at 257k start of turn. So bear in mind, obviously, when he attacks with 12 or more ki, he gets an extra 100%. So it's going to go up to 500k straight away. We greatly raise on super. So we're talking about 625k-ish. And then, of course, we have guard. We have the 30% damage reduction. And obviously, we'll slowly but surely be building up. If we get additionals, we do raise defense by that little bit extra as well. So let's go ahead and do this and see how we get on here. I might have to float him off at some point just so we always have a super class ally with him, because if we're going to float the tech Vegetas, we need to make sure we've actually got a super class ally, because if we keep him on rotation with Great Ape Vegeta and then we have the tech Vegeta leaders floating into slot 3, he won't have a super class ally on the rotation with him. So but yeah, we'll go ahead and see how he gets on. He does have an active skill as well, but we'll talk about that in a little bit once we get to the point we can actually use it. But yeah, turn 1. I mean, 16 million for a free-to-play support character. That's pretty good. And then the additional, we get the additional super, 9.5. The animations are pretty decent as well. This was his, I think this was his TUR, like, super attack before, right? And then the 18 key one's pretty cool. There's the dodge, so I guess we'll take that. And then we'll get an attack off with Goku in slot 3. This event's a good one for testing out this guy, because I tried to think which would be the best event to showcase him on, but like the Freezer stages of these Goku and Vegeta story ones are quite short. But obviously the Goku and Vegeta at the very end are transformation boost characters. So decent place to show him off. And that's the thing, right? If it was just Wicked Bloodline, that would be super awkward. But there's a lot of bosses in some of these red zone stages and that are transformation boost enemies. So that's going to benefit him quite a bit. I might have to just float him on the next turn, you know, because otherwise we're going to get... I need Daima Vegeta realistically to be the slot 1 unit on this other rotation. So yeah, we'll do this. I'm just going to have to float, even though it's his video, I'm going to have to just float Bardock, because it's unfortunate the starting rotation is what it is, with him being with the giant ape Vegeta, which is not really what we want for this setup. Because yeah, at the moment, ideal team for him is kind of the big issue, because like I'm not really sure, right? Like when it comes to the 10-year LRs, of course he is a pure Saiyan, but he's not an Earthbred fighter, Gifted Warrior, Fusion, or Patara, so he's not on their 220 lead, so he'd only get the 170% leader skill from them. He's probably, I mean, I guess we could try it out, we'll try him out in some other events and stuff as well anyway for other videos, but if he's usable under double 170 lead, then obviously he could be a pretty good support unit for their team. He does share a lot of links, he's another LR Super Saiyan character, so it could be quite helpful. But yeah, I think it's one of those things for this guy. His potential best team is going to be something that we don't have in the game yet. Like when we start getting more buffs for Time Travelers or Future Saga. I mean, Future Saga itself, obviously, he's not on, but a lot of Future Saga characters are Time Travelers units, right? So if we get a new Trunks or Future Gohan or something like that. Well, actually no, Future Gohan's not Time Travelers. But you guys know what I mean. Anything from like the Goku Black arc, Future Androids, all this kind of stuff, right? Any characters we get that are Time Travelers, depending on what their full 220 lead is, could potentially be a new leader for this Bardock. Or, of course, any other, like, Pure Saiyan or Super Saiyan combos, Goku Family and Super Saiyan combos, like, stuff like that. But, yeah, currently, no 200% lead, 220 lead in the game for this guy. So, he wants to be run around super class characters, which, you know, obviously all the best units in the game at the moment, like, post-anniversary, are all super class characters. So obviously he's going to be fine in that regard. We need to get this Goku floating as well. This is his first turn though, so he does get damage reduction here. So I think we can go ahead and do this. So after one stack, and with the support from the Goku, he's at 470k start of turn. Now bear in mind, on this turn he still has guard. He has the 30% damage reduction because we have the transformation boost enemy. So after attacking, he gets 100%. He's basically going to be over 1 million with 30% damage reduction and guard. That's nothing crazy if he was like a brand new summonable LR or something, but obviously for like a free-to-play character, that's definitely not terrible. So but yeah, we'll go ahead and get him floated here just so we can actually get him set up so that he is going to be on a full extreme, full superclass. Well, it doesn't have to be full superclass, does it? On a rotation where he has a superclass ally, I should say. Because that's the problem, obviously, again, with him being on like Broly's 200% lead or Int Fatboo. Like, his only real meta-relevant leaders are extreme characters. So if he was going to be floating on that team as a support, especially like the Broly team, it's kind of awkward because you're going to be running like Tech Broly and other like extreme, potentially like movie boss characters. So you're not necessarily going to have a setup where it makes a lot of sense for him to be floating on that team and actually having a superclass ally on the rotation. So I do think that's probably the biggest issue with this guy right now, is just the teams that he's on in terms of getting the maximum possible buff, right? Because again, no 220 lead, only a couple of 200% leads. I mean, his stats are okay for what we're seeing so far, but obviously you've got to bear in mind they're going to be considerably lower if it was on a double 170 lead team. So that's why I'm a bit apprehensive about the idea of like running him in one of these difficult red zone stages on like the 10-year teams, right, where he's just getting double 170. Funnily enough, if he was a Super Saiyan, if they'd done his awakening and he was like a Super Saiyan 2 or a Super Saiyan 3, then he would be on the Daima Vegeta 220 lead, funnily enough. But it is what it is. So keep you two together so that the Vegeta can keep stacking, and then we've got the Goku floating. Obviously, again, like in this kind of setup, it's not what we would probably run in an ideal scenario. It's just because we're showcasing the Vegeta. Like, we probably would not be floating the Tech Goku, right? But this is one of those events where mine is 69%, right? It's got the one dupe. Like, Daima Vegeta can handle business in slot 1. It's why this Vegeta event, I think, is considerably easier than the Goku fight at the end of the Vegeta story red zone. Not that I think the Goku one is that difficult, right? We've made memes about that already, of like truth calling it the hardest event in the game when it came out, but it can be he can be attack lowered. Like, it's the missions that make it hard, right? The categories that they want you to run against the event can be a little bit dodgy, but when you're running like any team you want, neither of these fights I think are that hard. They're just super tanky. But because this guy always supers in slot 1, you just have to make sure you have your 2 dedicated slot 1 tanks, and then like that's it, you're all good to go. So Diamond Vegeta will be fine in slot 1, Great 8 Vegeta will be fine in slot 1, and then everybody else just gets to kind of do their thing and build up. It's funny considering, because he has a damage threshold, the fact that this Tech Vegeta, just like, while he's obviously building up at this point, not able to do damage unless he's critting. But I think that does make this like a good showcase stage though, because obviously we can not worry about just killing the boss before we get a chance to do anything with the Bardock. So the next appearance for Bardock will be important because obviously his intro buff will have run out. So no more guard, no more guaranteed additional, and that's when he potentially starts to slow down. This is why I say as well that it does feel like he's designed to be a floating support character, because his buff is for 4 turns, which means if you float him off in slot 3 on his first appearance, he still has the buff on his second appearance. So, and then obviously if you're floating him off again, he won't be back until turn 7. And at that point, that's the only problem with characters that are stacking. And he is, as I say, only stacking defense on his 18 key super, is that you don't get as many turns to actually get that build up if you're constantly floating him off, right? So we'll have to see what the numbers are looking like here when he comes back again. We can get this Xeno Goku floated off now so that we can end up with a rotation of, at some point we'll end up with the rotation of Diamond Vegeta, Super Saiyan Bardock in the middle, and then Xeno Goku in slot 3, giving him that big support for the Goku family buff. So, and again, like this event, funnily enough, because he always supers in slot 1, it makes it a little bit safer to run units like the Xeno Goku, right? Because he's got type advantage, he's a stacker, but he doesn't stack up super quickly. But we know that we don't have to worry about, like, you know, on this turn there's obviously no attacks in slot 3, but we don't have to worry about like, oh, he got supered in slot 3 and now we've lost, right? So should be all good here. Still funny seeing these tech Vegetas like building up and doing no damage, but they'll get there slowly but surely. Yeah, and then Xenogoku again, like he's similar in a similar like sense of to that Bardock, right? Like being a stacking unit, but he's floating. It's not exactly ideal for him. So we have the active skill now for Bardock. So this is the turn, like I say, where he now no longer has guard. He still has the damage reduction because we've got a transformation boost enemy, but it means on attack he goes up to just over 1 million. Then of course he's greatly raising on super, so he's going to be at like what 1.2 1.25 kind of million defense after super attacking with 30% damage reduction. I mean, that's not terrible, but the thing with this Vegeta boss is he is building up attack with each attack received and can get up to 300% extra attack. And his super does 1.1 million, I think it is. Yeah, so it's like 3 1s and 4 zeros, so 1,110,000. So if we do plus 300%, his super attack's doing 4.4 million. Take off 30% damage reduction, it drops down to 3.1, which means this Bardock would need to have like 3 million defense in order to actually be able to tank it, which of course he isn't going to after a single super attack. His active skill, however, can be activated when HP is 60% or less with no restriction, or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. It does ultimate damage to the enemy and it gives him 318% defense for 1 turn. So massive defense buff. So let's go ahead and see. Obviously this event is going to go on forever, so let's go ahead and see what his defense is going to be post super here. Obviously get the animation in the video as well, because this is of course new for the LR. Change the cursed future. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously the free-to-play LRs aren't going to have a massive budget, but like the bit where his like face kind of turns and it zooms in like that, those frames look really, really good. 24 million damage with a crit, that's not bad. And then his defense goes to, yeah, 4.3 million. So that's where he's going to be really effective. It's like the turn where his guard runs out, you can then go ahead and throw out the active skill. And he is going to tank on this turn, because if he's got 4 million defense before he attacks, then he's getting 100%. Well, I guess actually the active skill counts as attacking, doesn't it? So he's not going to get another buff. But he's got over 4 million defense with 30% damage reduction. So if he got supered now by this Vegeta, even though his super does 4-odd million, it would take double-digit damage, even without the damage reduction as well, to be fair. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Again, considering that if you're thinking about using him as a floating support character, the first turn he's on, he has the guard, right? Then he comes back on turn 4, he still has the guard. Then he comes back on turn 7, you can use the active skill, and then he's got like 4 million defense. He doesn't come back again until like turn 10. And in certain events, if you are running him on like a powerful superclass team, you'll have won by the time you get to turn 10. Now, obviously, some of the new difficult events go on for longer. And then, of course, there's Festival of Battles, which, with him being an infinite stacker, but only stacking on his 12-key super, he could be usable, but, like, realistically, you've got to keep him on rotation, because with him only getting 1 stack every time he appears, like, you can't really be only getting a stack with him, like, every 4 turns, right? Because by the time you get to the end, you can only use his active skill once, and with Vegito at the end being tech, you've really got to use his active skill against Vegito, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. I think he seems really, really good for a free-to-play LR. Like I say, he doesn't have the perfect team to be on at the moment, but let me know what you guys think about him down below in the comment section. We'll definitely try him out on some other teams. I will try him on the 10-year team with the double 170 leads, and we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, I think he's definitely solid. We'll try him out on one of those teams as a floating support and see how well he does. But for a free-to-play LR that everybody can get just by doing the quest mode, like, I think he's pretty good. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.